For those that have been around since the original era of the original Digimon series are going to be very happy to know that a new adventure is about to begin, as I want to go on ahead and welcome you all to my Digimon Adventure Episode 1 review entitled Tokyo Digital Crisis, which is basically a reboot that predates all the way back to March 6, 1999, when the original Digimon Digital Monsters episode actually aired. And when looking back on how this episode looked when compared to the original 1999 Japanese anime, it's so different by comparison in terms of art style, in terms of animation, and from the beginning we are immediately introduced to Tai Yagami and Koshiro Izumi, which is of course is Izzy in the original English dub, which not only goes as far as to give me such nostalgia in seeing Izzy and Tai having to roam the streets, basically trying to figure out what's going on, because from the beginning the little 4th grader Izzy came on down below. He wanted to talk to Tai about something until there was a distress call on Tai's phone from his mom, and something seems to be going on within Tokyo, because early on in the episode we saw how the government seemed to be addressing the fact that something seems to be going on in Tokyo. And what I really enjoyed about this is the fact that somewhere in the digital world we get to see how there is a battle of some sorts that seems to be affecting the real world, and the first person that ends up feeling this is Tai. And this is quite different than the original, because in the original there was a monstrous attack on Tokyo where it caused Tai and Kari and everyone to wake up and basically see these giant monsters battling outside, whereas here, from the beginning, I would say about 5 minutes in, Tai is immediately shown having to run up a flight of stairs, and as he's doing so, all of a sudden, he just ends up disappearing and enters the digital world. So this is a little different when compared to what we've originally seen in Digimon Digital Monsters, until as Tai is shown having to flow right through the digital world, he notices Koromon, and because Tai takes initiative in trying to reach out and help Koromon, because Koromon seems to be in a very bad state of consciousness, he seems to be floating aimlessly, he also seems to be hurt, and what Tai ends up doing is reaching out and grabbing Koromon, and that creates a powerful rift having to be shown not only in the digital world but also in the real world itself as well, because there is a massive digital-like complex network in the sky, and as Koromon is being hugged by Tai, this prompts Tai to gain his first Digimon device as Koromon ends up evolving into Agumon for the first time. And it's interesting because there were slight changes in this episode when compared to the original, because the original series ended sometime in March of 2000, which is just about 20 years following the events of what happened in Digimon Digital Monsters, and from the original series everything was often referred to as the digital world, whereas here it's referred to as the internet world. So there are slight changes to personalities and characters. For example, we immediately get to see how Koshiro bows down to Tai and is very humble but is also very intelligent, as we've already known Izzy to be, and Izzy seems to portray himself a tad bit differently than how we've seen in the original Digimon Digital Monsters airing, because during that time he seemed to have had more of a mouth on him, whereas here he seems to come off a little different as a very humble-like character, as a very intelligent character. He's going to serve his purpose down the line, and I really cannot wait to see my personal favorites go down with Myotismon and the Dark Masters way later down the line if they plan on doing that. But what's really cool is how Izzy begins to inform Tai about the digital world, or the network as it's referred to, and basically informs Tai about the virus-like Digimon that seem to inhabit that world as well, that also seem to be affecting the real world in terms of computers and whatnot. So it's a living, breathing digital world, and Izzy also points out that he also has the same device that Tai ended up having as soon as he entered the network, and this prompts Izzy to tell Tai that he's going to be of a huge help as this continues, because the way Izzy was transmitting his message to Tai was due to the Digivice, and he also informs Tai that the monsters in the network or in the digital world, every single time they do something of significant impact, it ends up affecting the real world. As we've seen in episode 1, with the train station. So the trains are about to collide, and it's all because of the infectious virus Digimon in the network. And what's also different is, in the original, we remember how Greymon actually fought Parrotmon to protect Kari and Tai, which also set up the beginning of the first Digimon movie with Dioboromon, and those were the kind of vibes that I was getting from this, and I really do hope that they introduce Dioboromon as a canon character at some point in Digimon Adventure, because Dioboromon to me was one of my absolute favorite villains in Digimon. But even then, as we get to see one of the infectious virus Digimon evolve, we then notice how Agumon's baby flame, he wasn't able to do as much until it was Tai's plea for help that caused Agumon to defend Tai and thus evolving into Greymon. So not only did Koromon evolve into Agumon, but Agumon also evolved into Greymon, all within the same episode. And if you guys remember and harpen back to the original, that never happened, but instead things were a lot different, things were more settled, whereas here it's very fast-paced and it's also very direct in a sense to where they're not wasting any time. And the battles itself, for example, the battle between Agumon and the virus creatures, and even Greymon having to battle against this massive evolved Digimon, it was so cool in a sense to where the art, the animation, the pacing, everything flowed very, very well, and I really enjoyed the battle involving Greymon, because the first time we ever saw Greymon in Digimon Digital Monsters was from a different circumstance in the Digidestined having to be in trouble, specifically Tai. And what's also cool here is seeing the fact that Greymon was battling against a different enemy when compared to the original series. And by no means is this a bad thing, but I really enjoyed how Greymon fired his Mega Flame in wiping out the evil Digimon and preventing the trains from actually colliding. And what's even most interesting by the end of the episode was they kind of eluded and harpened back to the Digimon movie, to where Izzy basically informed Tai that it wasn't just Tokyo that was being affected, but instead it was also the United States. And if they don't get everything situated now, then perhaps maybe the military's weapons are going to be under the influence and control of these monsters, and perhaps maybe there will be a launching of an attack if they don't end up situating and liberating the situation. So I really love this because, again, this reminded me so much, especially the end reminded me so much of Dioboromon and what Dioboromon wanted to do with the nuclear missiles, and seeing what happened in the first Digimon movie. So I really cannot wait to see what they're going to do with this. They could ultimately introduce this in one of many different ways. They could give us a different plot, they could give us a different introduction for a first boss. It would really be disappointing if Dioboromon ends up being the first boss, I guess, for Greymon and even Garurumon, because by the end of it, we have the debut of not only Garurumon, but Matt on top of him as well. So Matt's introduced, Garurumon's introduced, everyone's introduced. Joey was shown in school. We have everyone outside, I would say, of Sora and TK. Those characters are going to be introduced, I would argue, later. But I really enjoyed this episode, not only because it is a definite reboot of the original, but it just also feels different because the original actually took its time with introducing all of the baby Digimon for them to evolve into their base states and then thus their higher evolutions like Greymon, for example. And this also kind of intrigues me because I'm wondering at what point are we going to see Metal Greymon, perhaps if they're going to bring back Skull Greymon. War Greymon was shown at the opening of this, which was fantastic, and I cannot wait to see the Mega level Digimon actually be a thing. But in the end, I want to get your thoughts in the comment section below if you guys enjoyed this episode, if you guys think this was a little better than the original, and who do you guys believe is going to be the first enemy that the Digidestined are going to fight together. And also, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you're going to be pleased to know that Masako Nozawa was actually narrating the opening of this, which kind of really harpens back to the fact that Goku was talking to us about Digimon in the opening segment of this episode. So that was pretty surreal to me, as a lot of us are waiting for another Dragon Ball Super anime, and just to have that little tidbit of Masako Nozawa narrating the beginning really made me happy, because The possibilities are endless, and I really did not have any high hopes for this series until I watched the first episode, and I'm telling you all right now, once you guys check this episode out, I think you'll be hooked. But in the end, I want to get your thoughts and feedback down below. Thank you all so much for watching. If of course you guys are new to this channel, then I do encourage you guys to smash that subscribe button, slap a big fat like down below if you guys love anime and Digimon. Tune back in for the next video, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody, and stay safe. Peace.